Hello and welcome to the energy update with me, Tom Lawless, here at Cymatic TV. I haven't been there for about 3 weeks, I think. So first things first, major apologies. I do apologise about that. But at the same time, I have been moving house. And it's taken me sort of 2 or 3 weeks because it's a long distance I'm moving. So it's been preoccupying myself with that. So I just haven't had the time. I've been observing the sun and there's been loads going on. I hope you've been observing it as well. Have you been noticing how you've had any changes or aspects within your life? There's been X flares, there's been M flares, there's been coronal holes, and there's been filament energy. On my money, I think the filament energy has been winning the day at the moment. There's been coronal holes have been really powerful, really strong, and so for earth signs it made us feel a little more sort of like solid and in it. We're going to be going into the reading from the earth and getting the message from the earth a little bit later on. I'm sitting on the line and at the moment, and we'll be going into the chakra sequence and seeing how that is sort of the messages coming out of that chakra sequence. But in the meantime, I do some sort of meditation. We're going to go into sort of Poleshift. So I do this sort of meditation where I use the energy lines and their crossing points. It's almost like the best way to describe it is a little bit like a train station. So you can get the train to somewhere else. That means you can go and visit anywhere in the earth, but also at the same time, from the centre of the earth, you can go and visit the sun, and then from the sun you can go and visit the other planets. There is a certain structure about it. You can't just sit here and disappear to another planet. It doesn't work like that. You're just going to be punching holes in energy and turning it into Swiss cheese, and energy won't allow you to do that. So if you're doing that, there might be a lot of illusions mixed in with it, fantastical illusions. So I'll just be a little bit wary of that. It's something I've been doing for 30 years, and we've all gone down that path of just connecting to the universe at your crown chakra. But that's not actually how it goes. You've got to respect the fuses, like in an electrical system. You've got to respect the fuses going from one system to another and gradually working your way up, and you eventually go to the galaxy and go and visit loads of different things in the galaxy if you so want. It's a certain technique which I've been doing in this meditation for ages. So back to Poleshift. So when I go down into the centre of the earth, you have this sort of like, these are just my vision. So I could quantify it with some scientific sort of studies and papers, but let's just put it down to my own personal meditation. Take it and leave it as you see fit. So as I go into these crossing points, normally I go down into the centre of the earth, and I've been noticing changes over the last 15-20 years to the colour and the vibration of the inner plasma ball, because I think the centre of the earth has actually got a ball of plasma. That's my own personal point of view, and I think that's plasma is originally from the sun. Big clue to how the solar system works. I've been going down there and observing these changes over the last sort of 20 years. And I noticed, roughly around about sort of 10 years ago, there was a definite change in vibration in the centre of the earth. Everything was fine, but it was a definite change in the vibration. And I kept an eye on it. I was getting all excited. It sort of stayed in that sort of position for a while. And I used to do group meditations where we used to go down and observe the centre of the earth. And it was very interesting how everybody has their own point of view. I don't tell them what colour it is or anything. I just encourage people to observe and then come back with their story, and then we talk about it in our story between one another. I do a lot of that stuff in my workshops as well. So it's really discovering yourself and discovering how you really work, how we work as energy beings. So, and I didn't really sort of like put much notice on it. So after a while, it sort of stayed the same. And then there was another thing about sort of 2 years ago, really. It was only 2 years ago where the crossing points were so tight. The energy was going so tight down into a funnel that it was difficult to get down there. And I didn't want to just bust my way through. It's a bit disrespectful to energy. So instead of just sort of like forcing my way through to the centre of the earth, I sort of sat back and kind of go, okay, no problem. So you don't want to be disturbed. Sometimes like a dog doesn't want to be disturbed, or we don't want to be disturbed. So I left it, left it alone. I went and visited the openings every now and then to make sure everything was okay. nothing seemed to be untoward, but that brighter section of the crossing point of the energies as you go down this vortex, we're gradually getting higher and higher. And I've been going through this Astro Flower thing, like the other channel that I do to do with tarot reading and stuff like that. You might want to go and check that out, Astro Flower. It should be a link in the description below. I started noticing a few things about, not only about my sign, but about other people's signs as well, and how it sort of seemed to be a collective thing going on. So I decided to go and visit the centre of the earth this week on a meditation. And I went to there, and I could get through the portal with ease. It didn't seem to be a particular crossing point. It was almost as if the crossing point had dilated, and that it was a lot thicker and shorter. So it seemed to be wider but shorter and less intense. And then when I got down to the centre of the earth, it was as if like the plasma ball had just died. Well, that's probably a strong word. Don't get worried. This is a natural process. So there really is nothing to worry about. So I went down there, and it just seemed to. Normally, you get like this plasma ball, and you get like arcs, like a Tesla ball, basically. So you get these arcs coming off of it, and you can take them to other places. It's like a train line, And that wasn't happening, and I was kind of going, "What's going on?" And, it felt like I was in this cavernous place that you could kind of go, "Hello, hello, hello, hello." It's kind of, what's going on? So then I looked up, and then I kind of could see the portals above me, and the arcing of the plasma ball was now above me rather than at the centre of the earth. So here's a video here, you'll see here, and it's how to turn a sphere inside out. I've often posted this video on the Facebook page I've got, on various other things that I've got. And it's really interesting to learn how magnetic field reversal works, magnetic pole shift works. So if you imagine you've got those two, I'd go along and see that full video. It is really worth watching. And basically you get the poles that turn, and then they turn around the centre and make these ridges around the centre. Now that's very similar to, if you like, my line maps, which you can now see here. It's a similar sort of situation. So as the poles sort of switch, you're creating another dipole on the side, and as that dipole is getting stronger, that's what pulls the magnetic poles of the north and the south into one area. And this is what we've seen over the last 10-15 years of the movement of the magnetic poles, and they're moving even more quicker all the time, and we're gradually going into, if we're not full on, into the pole shift. And it seemed to me as if like the center of the pole, the center of the magnetic field of the earth was coming closer, meeting the magnetic field that's gradually depleting on the outside. And as they meet together, that's when they fall into each other, and they do that inverse, and they just pop out. And then everything works again. So it's not like it's like that's the end. That's not how it works. This is an ongoing natural effect, as much as winter is winter and summer is summer. It may mean that there's a lot of difference within our meteorological world, but that's affected by many things in life, as we well know. But I think that could well possibly be one of them. That could also be a possible connection with the sun, and etc. So I think at the moment, and we've seen this with the lightning that's going from the earth to the sky, which has been happening a lot more and a lot more fantastically. There was also lightning the other day that did a bit of gouging out of a little canyon in someone's garden, which was really weird. And Suspicious Observers goes into this. They do a very good explanation into it. I suggest that channel wholly and heartily. Ben Davison is an amazing guy who's done some amazing work on the sun and energy flows, basically. He's well worth a visit. Go and visit and subscribe over there if I was you. So yeah, and it seems like those two poles are coming together, and that's going to affect us. So that means your crown chakra and your root chakra are gradually coming together, and that's sort of like squashing our middle chakras a little bit and putting the heart under pressure, putting your stomach or your solar plexus under pressure, your throat, putting all the others under pressure. So then there may be, you know, and we can see this in society, of people saying things that don't really mean, but it just comes out of them, and it comes out in the wrong way because that's that plexus solis that's coming out and stuff like that. So it's really affecting the humans and how it's inverting us as energy beings. And this is what Poleshift is all about. It's not just about the Earth, it's also about all the living beings upon this planet, be it trees as much as humans, birds and fish. So, you know, it may help you to understand a little bit better your inner feelings sometimes. So if you can feel it, you're getting that tension within you, it's going to help. It's going to help you out to realise that you're also in an environment, a magnetic environment or an energetic environment, which is a little bit way sort of scenario, and it is creating a lot of mental health issues that can actually be dealt with in a way of sort of meditation, putting yourself back to a normal flowing state. And I think this is one of the biggest medications that we need. So if I was you, and I would suggest to you, do meditation on a regular basis, and you don't have to sit there with your eyes closed. It is a state of being and in the lotus position or anything like that. It's more sort of how you do your breathing, how you regulate your energies as they flow through your body, and understanding how the chakra system really works, and the fact that we've only got 5 chakras, 5, not 7. Get with the program, people. It makes life very logical and a lot easier, and that your influx is in your sternum, it's not in your heart, and it's not in your solar plexus or your plexus solis. Yeah, it's solar plexus. So yeah, it's been quite a revelation for me this week. I've been moving, and I've got a new studio coming up, so recording studio. So I'm going to be able to do a lot more videos, shorter videos, but for this channel, explaining a lot of the background stories on energy. Okay, yeah. So there you go. That's Poleshift for you. Let's get into the messages from the Earth. I was just dowsing the line earlier on. Looked really nice. As I say, I think it's more filament energies that have been coming through from the sun at the moment. That's much more emotional energies mixed in with a bit of earth energy as well. This could well be because we're coming towards that solstice moment, and Pisces is a mixture between water and earth as much as Capricorn. So it is that sort of mixture out of the two, and I would say water is higher than earth at the moment. So you may experience emotional things that attach to physical situations at the moment, so just be aware of that, so you can introduce that into your life. Okay, so the lines seem to be normal. I think I'm going to stand up though, because just be a little bit better. I'll just get it out of there. There you go. Oh, that's a nice bit of sunshine. So there you go. Let's just do the connection. Crown, root, but root is not going deep at all. This is new. It's really not going deep, and the crown is not really going high. That is interesting. Okay, this could be. And third eye is working really. It's really solid. It's more descripting. Okay, hang on a second. It's moving on to the throat, the solar plexus, back up to the third eye, the heart, but it doesn't stay. It's very flitting. Goes straight to the head though. Goes straight up to the third eye again. It's all about the third eye at the moment. There's a little bit of sacrum there, and then we've got the crown and the root following in a little bit deeper actually, and then there's the ultimate connection, and we're back to the beginning, and then again we got the shorter on the shorter on the root and on the crown. Just get a message what's going on there from the earth. Not everything is what you see. That's actually a phrase out of my book called The Event, which you should have a link down below that I've got on Amazon. It's a fictional book, but it explains a little bit about what's going on at the moment. It's a book that I wrote 20 years ago originally, 25 years ago now. Very interesting book. There is a sequel that is coming out. We should have 2 sequels coming out in the near future. But don't take anything on face value. That's what it's sort of saying. Look deeper into things. Look deeper into yourself. Realise the path that you should be on, rather than looking at the rest of the world and trying to get on their path. Don't worry about the rest of the world. They're going to do what they're going to do and be what they're going to be. This is more a case of you. This is you in front of energy. This is you in front of the vibration, as it were. And if you're in front of the vibration, there's no one else there but you. And you can only depend upon you. So if I was you, I would get active in your life of putting things in place. And this is all part of the move for me as well, is putting things in place to make sure you're in a nice place in the next sort of like 5-10 years. So you can be in a community that you enjoy. You know, you got plenty of time. Just take your time and just gradually move around and change your job or whatever if you need to do it. If you feel that you're in the right place, then it's exactly where you should be. But yeah, it's not taking things on face value. That seems to be it. The funny thing of the shortening of the root chakra and the crown chakra could be those sort of energies that are coming together. And there was definite pressure it was like the third eye was just kind of going, oh, what's that? And getting the information from the solar plexus and the heart really, really quickly. And also the sacrum. And the throat was in there as well. So everything was in there, but it seemed to be dipping in and putting it into context within the brain. Or the projection of the third eye. That's what the third eye is. It's a bit like the video projector of all the information from the rest of your energies. And you can combine that in order to see things that are unseen throughout the world. But that's what it's sort of the message that is coming in at the moment. Sort of don't take things at face value. Do your own research. Get into knowing you and progressing in a way that's going to put you in a good place. That's what it seems to be like. There's a definite change that happened who's been following these energy updates. Definite change that happened about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And that could be that thing that I was telling about when I went down to visit the centre of the earth. It seems to go in increments and then stays in that increment for several years. So we may be in this phase for 5 years, 10 years, who knows? We're all discovering it together. We're all in the same boat. There's no one going anywhere. We're all on the same planet. You know, people can take off in their spaceships, as Bob Marley would say, but they're going to have to come back down at some point. You know, so their experience may be different from the people on the surface, but at the end of the day, everyone's going to have to put up with the consequences of everything that we do. And so, taking responsibility for ourselves is really important. So that's all part of the new paradigm sort of thing going on. Whew. I haven't done it for 3 weeks and I've made this an extra long one. I do apologise about that. So there you go. That's been your energy update for this week. I will be doing a lot more now that I've moved. I've still got some bit of decorating and arranging to do in my new place, but that should be done quite quickly and I should have this studio out, so I should have a lot more sort of shorter videos to give the background information on these energy updates. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.